And we're back. Now, as I was saying, the idea of the North and the South is has been painted up as okay. Well, the North was the righteous protectors who was fighting for truth and justice, and the South was just a bunch of racist bigots who just didn't want to release slaves. That's not that's not at all the truth, but that's what history has been written because the North won the war. The fact of the matter is that the North was no better than England. They were just dictating all the laws and all the rules and deciding what is okay and what's not okay. Slavery was just one thing in there, and honestly, I stick by the idea that whether the South had won or not, slavery would have been abolished within a few years, anyways. It was just a matter of time. It did not have to do with that war. The fact of the matter is, the war just sped up the process. But it was a matter of if we had split into North and South United States, then it would have been a whole nother story here. There would have been able to be more divergency. There would be able to be locations for people to pick and choose. Because as it is right now, I would much prefer the country to split anyways and let it be. All these people who want to have it one way, put it over there. The leftists, let them have one half of the country. Let everybody that doesn't want to be a leftist on the other side of the country. And just stick it out that way. Let's see how long they make it. Just saying. I think that that would be much better solution to this whole problem. Oh, very quick. Why am I freezing? No. Because that's the whole thing. Like, I'm not going through all the details of all this stuff. But the fact is that now, because of this, people who wanted to hang on to memorials of the people that were lost, it's like they had acknowledged that they lost. Everybody's acknowledged that it's over. The war's done.
Don't tell
But
the others.
you're going to take the rebel flag from them. And that's still their flag at the end of the day. People can put swastikas on their skin, but a rebel flag is being taken as a threat. It is being taken away from everybody. That's crap. The idea of forcing opinions on people and taking other people's rights to speak out away from them is wrong. That's what we're supposed to stand for as a whole. That's our whole country's motto. Is that that's
Nothing
wrong?
scares me.
He doesn't have
Except
to
mice.
say. There we go. And yet, that's what we're trying to force down the throats is the idea of like, no, freedom of speech is no longer a thing. You are not allowed to say anything negative. You can say nice things, but you can't say nothing negative. Then there's no point in freedom of speech. Other countries have that same thing. Yeah, you can say as much as you want as long as it's nice. Don't say nothing bad, though. If you say something bad, you could be in jail. Heck, you could be dead by the end of the week. Like, it's the thing. I mean, there's literally Canadians who have told you, Crowder with Crowder, Steven Crowder. He tells you that free healthcare crap is crap. It's not a good thing. They're trying to sell something to you that you don't really want to buy. You just think you do because it's got a pretty little bow on it and it sounds nice. This is a man that grew up with free healthcare. It's just having to sit here. There's so much stuff to cover and so little to go with. It'd be easier if there was somebody here to debate. But I don't have nobody here with me to debate on this. I got a friend of mine who literally, the African American one, he actually went and was doing the
You're doing great out there.
peaceful protesting. And he admitted that he literally did this literally just to cause drama because he loves drama. But he doesn't really stand behind any of this stuff. 'Cause he's one of these ones too that's like, okay, yeah, I got there was preaching Black Lives Matter, but as far as I'm concerned, all lives matter. At the end of the day, it really doesn't like. Does Black Lives matter? Yes. But does that mean white lives don't? No. Does that mean blue lives don't matter? Blue lives don't matter, or blue lives matter is literally just the cops trying to cash in on this and be smartasses about it. And I don't care what gets said about that at that point. that is literally
Go
cops
ahead and
being
hire one of these
smartasses.
recruits.
And be like, oh, if you can say Black Lives Matters, and and this is just an attack at cops, then Blue Lives Matter too. So yeah, you're a dick. Because at the end of the day, you can't come here and punch a black guy in the face and not get in trouble for it. Like you can't. Sorry, let's rephrase this. You cannot have your uniform on, walk up to a black guy in his neighborhood, punch him in the face, and then for the rest of your life be hunted by every single black guy in America. It doesn't work like that. But if a black guy shows up and punches a cop in the face, literally every single police officer in America is going to be hunting for you. You cross state lines, they're still going to be looking for you. Cross into another country, they're going to be waiting for you, and they're going to try to send people after you. Because they're not going to want to let you get away with that. There's a difference there. Like, you are protected. Whether or not you want to acknowledge that or not, you are protected. But the citizens are not.
I didn't like that one either. Here's a gold.
That's why it's different.
Nice.
But it's not literally just a racial thing. That's the problem here. It's been turned into a racial thing. And the problem isn't, oh, well, cops are racist. No, cops are on a power kick where they think that they're gods, is the problem. Right now, there's a cop sitting in his house listening to this, and he's thinking, I think, oh my god, who do you think you are?
I think
know
you
I am.
could win this whole thing.
I've had a cousin. She was one of my best friends for the longest time. Like, she was my favorite cousin for the longest time. And she turned around and had to go be a cop after my dad's murder. And she told me, it's like, oh, I'm going in there because I want to make sure that what happened to your dad doesn't happen again. I'm going to be a good cop. I'm going to make sure that crooked cops go down for what they did. And that there's somebody in there to speak for the citizens who have to go in there and not have a voice. Like, alright, we'll see how that works out. She says, you know me. You grew up with me. You know I want to change. He's like, no, I know that every cop goes in there thinking that. And then almost every single cop comes out acting like the jackasses who killed my dad. Not gonna sugarcoat what they are.
It's good to get some
They're pigs. They're horrible monsters. Slaughtered an innocent person. Because they could. Because nobody's going to be able to do anything about it. I can't go and do anything about it. I don't have an army behind me that's going to be able to make sure they get punished for what they did. They just get to get away with it. And then I get to see that, oh, well, the only people who have to deal with this is African Americans. That's not true. As a matter of fact, it's a smack in the face to anybody that wasn't African American. Any Hispanic who had to lose a family member, any Caucasian who had to lose a family member, anybody that had to lose a family member that just because they wasn't African American, automatically it's just a slap in the face to them. Oriental, I don't hear too many about Oriental.
You got this. You're way
you never know.
ahead.
I don't even know what the official. I say Oriental, but you can't just say Asian. I don't know if that covers the whole spectrum of that, but like literally, like there's every race has to deal with this at the end of the day. It's not just one race, and the fact that it's being put down like that, not only is it a slap in the face to anybody else that's had to deal with it, and acting like, oh well, you just have it so much worse because of your skin color. No, everybody has to suffer in their own ways. Nowadays, it's bad to be a Caucasian because you're automatically labeled a racist. You might used to have to deal with the fact that back in the day, your skin color dictated whether or not you was a slave or not, according to. Oh, you're just a former slave. No. Now you're a racist if you are Caucasian. That's not fair.
My shield for Argon.
I only got Murlocs, so that's not gonna do me no good. How would I sell for the token? I don't have anybody that would sell for this. Tough. Used to hero power. keys because there's only one other Murloc user. I'm gonna go up with power next.
I think you can win this thing.
Just to be our 4-star.
Avenge me!
Or
Avenge me!
that's the whole thing. Like, why are we trying to put labels on everything? Trying to find ways to tear a country that's right. When it should be us versus the government. Period. At this point. And I know it's like, oh, well, why should you go against the government? It's not really a proper thing to say. It's like, the government picked the fight in the first place. Everything that's happening is that. It's not a matter of a president at the end of the day that's picked this fight either. Like, it could be, oh, wasn't you supporting Trump? At the end of the day, if I have to vote, I will vote Trump. It's harder to say that knowing that this coronavirus thing going down, he's one of the ones that's like, oh no, I need to get people out there working again because the country needs to make money. You need to shut the country down. It needs to shut down for a month. Period. A whole month of nobody interacting. The only people that need to be moving is if there was a natural disaster in another country, we would send National Guard out there. There would be food and resources handed out. Money would be paid. There would be shelters built. Everything. Everything would be set. But because it's in our country, it's not being done. They need to literally put everybody under house arrest. Everybody needs to be locked into their own place. If you are not a government official, and I mean like essential as in firefighter, a actual police officer, or military. And honestly, shouldn't even need the police officers if the military's in here anyways. But if you're not going to bring in the military, use police officers and then use Coast Guard or whatever. Make it to where literally MREs or food in general is being brought house to house. Dropped off on the steps and left. That's it. And made sure that it's picked up before left so that you don't have to deal with somebody coming and taking from somebody else's house after they dropped it off. And then literally that should be locked up. You should not, if you're caught out joyriding or whatever, I just wanted to go to the beach, it's like, no, you don't need to be going to the beach. You don't need to be joyriding at night. You need to be in your house. If you want to go out into your front yard, that's fine. But if we catch you interacting with your neighbors and everything like that entire neighborhood needs to be quarantined at that point. Because you need to be under house arrest, period. Do not go out. Do not go talk to your buddy next door. Do not... no, I was buying the gold rivers. Do not be coming over here trying to, like, make nicey nice with the girl next door. Like, you need to go take your butt back inside and just chill. It ain't gonna hurt you. It's not gonna kill you to stay inside for a month. It might feel like it is, but it's not. Gold rubber down for sure. We're about to fight first place, and he's using beasts. I want to go up a level. Sell that. Yeah, let's do that. We'll sell that. Go up a level. There's no point holding up.
So many shiny. So many shiny.
There's 5 beasts. I doubt he has anything good, so that's why I didn't wait for my hero power. It's rare that I don't use my hero power too, so. But if we shut it down nowhere, nobody does. And then honestly, like I've heard some people saying that they need to make it where rent's free. I agree. I think they need to shut it down where, like, yeah, lights, internet, all that needs to be allowed to stay on. Whether it's paid by the government or whether it's like set up to where there's a payment plan with every single company, there needs to be an arrangement paid. Because having people live in their houses for a month without internet or power would be about crazy, for real. But especially whenever there's really no cable companies no more that are just like easily getting access to. You can't even really use a free channel no more.
Oh, it's okay. We all hit some bumps now and then.
Mixed minions. There's a chance that there's murlocs mixed in that, right? So we have to make a decision because there's got to be 2 minions taken out. Two. It's going to be.
Who knows what secrets we'll uncover?
Second, we gotta get through this turn. Can work towards the triple. Or else I can just buff their health. There's only 2. Still gonna buff the health.
I didn't like that one.
Ah,
Here's
didn't have
a
enough
goal for
time.
the trouble.
Not too bad. Snipe Soul Juggler. Suck. Soul. Oh wait, no, never mind. We're good. We're good. I'm glad we didn't get to use the hero power now, but still.
Nice work out there. Keep up the pressure.
I'll clean you up.
Dragons, you're saying. Disgusting.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
So we'll do this. That way, if they leave, they hit him and only him, and then those 2 are garbage. And then they can just throw shields out, and he dies first. He buffs the other murlocs, so we're good. And as long as I got 2 goldens, these guys are going up by 4 each turn.
All
So
the best minions come here. I've got that spicy pretzel mustard.
So if we could just get everybody to decide, I'm not gonna complain, no matter what you say. We don't need to make laws for that. And at the same time, everybody comes to the conclusion that I don't have to hate on you because of your race or your gender. You should, anyways. That everybody can just be like, oh, woe is me, my party needs to stop. That life isn't worse for me than it is for anybody else. I mean, all you really gotta do is start looking at everything as from their point of view. Like, you see it from your point of view all the time. You know, you're crying. Look at it from somebody else's point of view. And why can't we have a government that's actually trying to look out for its people like it used to be? Like it was supposed to be.
I'll clean you up.
+2 to everything, which means I could get +2 to each of those. But
Let's see if you
shut
can
down
stay on
people
top.
being able to go interact. Essentials only, which means if there's a gas station open, it should only have to be honestly a handful of gas stations in general. But if they are all going to go for whatever, but it should be only government officials driving around anyways, unless an emergency. You shouldn't need it. And more times than not, if it's an emergency, you should be calling a paramedic anyways. Have to go to the hospital, but you can cut back on the hospital staff. If people aren't out doing stupid crap, then they can't get injured. So it should cut back on how many people are out there anyways.
Your minions really pulled their weight.
Skadoosh. Alright, we'll sell this guy again.
I'm feeling punchy.
Buy these two. Yes, more pirates. Huzzah. He might have a gold grubber. He does. Yeah. If we can get a triple of this guy right here, we'll be set. Heck, I'd settle for a third one of him at this point, so we can get a triple of that. I mean, really, can you think of a better way of going about this other than let's just close our eyes and ignore the fact that there's a pandemic running around killing everybody? Or the fact that at this point, because we're allowing people to be babies about stuff. So, dang it. We could have had him, we could have had our children. I'm getting a little tired, so it's a little bit harder for me to think.
Hiring that minion will get you a triple.
Got the triple.
Oh ho! You're moving up in the world.
So many shinies.
Yeah, there's one dragon. I'll take that. Him.
We want your loot.
Oh, we're about to fight.
By fate or fortune.
Let's see if you can stay on top.
I didn't want a dragon. Yay. dragons aren't that tough. Not anymore, anyways.
Your minions really pulled their weight.
Don't need another golf driver. I like to triple that. Yeah, push comes to shove.
I'm feeling punchy.
Better hire a recruit while you can.
Really no.
My shield for Argus!
The fate of the world hangs in the balance.
Who knows what secrets will uncover?
What's this?
Who are you calling?
You got this.
Ah,
You're
come
way
on.
ahead.
Alright, well, even if we lose this fight, we shouldn't be eliminated, which means 2.
Avenge
Let's just fight. That's the fight. It's a matter of our time. Suck. Oh, like this thing, like we got. We're like, we got our triple. I guess Rafam was meant to win this game. Guys, I for the most part have explained why I'm ashamed of America. The fact that I don't like the way the coronavirus has been handled. And the fact that Donald Trump has chose to swing in the way of going against the idea of fighting the virus just because the Democrats have chose that they want to support fighting it. Whenever the roles were reversed before, I think it's stupid. Don't pick a fight just because of politics. Think of the human race. Think of your fellow man. And I want that same message to be put down for every single person who is causing a rift in America today. We can't make peace with other countries if we can't make peace with each other. At the end of the day, we are the country that's the flagship of making peace with everybody and unifying everybody. You can't flagship that if we can't get along here. Like, we are already a country that's hated by most other countries as it is for very good reasons. But to have us hating each other too, it ain't doing nothing. We're not accomplishing anything. So, I can have more on this discussion if y'all are interested in this. Let me know in the comments. I can elaborate more on any one of these subjects. I am trying to throw out a gist of how I feel about this. I'm also very tired because I haven't slept yet and it's already 10:46. I've been up since yesterday at 4 p.m. I only slept for a few hours yesterday, so. But I wanted people to know that where I stand, and that if anybody agrees with anything that I've said, you're not alone. Your voice doesn't get said very often, and because you always have to worry about somebody judging you or hating on you for it because they treat you as you're the hater. But the fact of the matter is that if you're hating on somebody because you feel like they hate you, you're a hater. You are what you hate. If you're accusing somebody of being racist for their skin color, then you're racist. If you're accusing somebody of hating on you because of your gender, then you're sexist. Like, period. And I'm sorry, but you can't get mad at somebody else for, like, accuse somebody else of hating you for your gender if you don't even accept yourself for your gender. If you're trying to change your own gender and it's because you don't like being your gender, because you feel like people hate on your gender, you're hating your gender. You are making that decision. I do know somebody right now who is literally she's a female She doesn't want to be. She says she hates women. So she literally tapes her own breast down and she's trying to do a sex change and taking testosterone to change herself into be a male. But she doesn't want to be considered a male. She wants to be considered what was it she chose? I don't even remember what she chose now. I don't acknowledge it. The fact matter is that she wants to be considered genderless. You can't be genderless. It's literally not possible. You can have both genders at the same time. It's not on purpose. It's not something to pick on, and it's not something they call them a freak for, or nothing like that. Like, it's nature. It happens. Like, it just makes you unique. That's the whole thing. It's unique. But there's been so many people out there who have went and changed their gender, and then they've regretted it. And it's so much harder to change it back. Because you're never going to be the same. Once you've changed it, you're never going to be the same. And there's no taking that back for real. Whatever's natural is natural. Nothing that man can make will ever replace what's already natural. So you're destroying your own body and making your own life miserable. Think about it before you do it. Really think about it. If you are being told that you're too young to make a decision like this, more than likely you are. There's a lot of things that I believed wholeheartedly, 100% in when I was a teenager that now I don't. I've completely changed on things. There's things that I stand for that I can't even mention on this because majority of Americans would not approve of what I have to think. And it's not something like, oh yay, 4-year-olds. No, that's still kind of sick to me at the end of the day. Like I understand some people have their preferences. That shouldn't be one of them. But and no, technically I am straight. I associate myself to only really be attracted to females. Sorry guys. I know there's been a few you have tried. But I don't necessarily think that you should have to lock yourself in to just one female. Period. I think that the idea of just uh, one man and one woman in a household at this point, or one man and or two men in a household, or just two women in a household, however you're living, I don't think it's enough. I think there needs to be a third person for every couple at this rate. That's I personally I would like to fix that problem. My current girlfriend does not agree with this, so we don't push towards that. But honestly, I feel like that's where I would honestly stand with that. I believe that at this point, we're never going to accomplish anything until there was another one, and that there's plenty of love to go around. That's just how I stand. There are other people that see things differently, and that's how they can see it. So, and that's where I'm saying ultimately, you're never going to dig your way out of this hole because that's what the government has set you up for. At the end of the day, you're always going to be broke if you're broke. It doesn't matter how much you work. It doesn't matter how many promotions you get. Because every time you make more money, there's just more taxes you're paying. More taxes are not adding up because, oh, it's only fair. No, more taxes are adding up because that's how they keep you under their thumb. That's how they've been doing it this entire time. You're still a slave. Slavery's still a thing. They're just controlling you through your money. The government wants to free you for real. They need to cut back work hours from being 40 hours a week is full time to being cut back to either 36 or even 30 hours a week. There should be 3 days off for every American and still be working full time. You can cut back. You can keep the pay rate the way it is, but the cost of living should be cut back. Rent should be cut in half across the board. Period. It should not cost $1,000 to live in a two-bedroom place. At no point. That is ridiculous. That it's $1,000 to live in a two-bedroom. You have $1,000 that you have to pay just to have you and a spouse live in one room and then have a kid, or you and one roommate. Period. That's $1,000 just to pay, just to have a roof over your head. before lights, before water, before electricity, like before anything. Heck, internet is $100 a month. Right off the bat. Let's get into your car insurance. Let's get into maintaining the vehicle that costs as much as the house. Like, that needs to stop. You want to truly free your citizens? Fix that. In fact, you want to make it to where there's less tension, where everybody's not at each other's throats, and there's less lazy people who don't want to get a job. Make it to where they don't have to freaking work themselves to death. To where they only get 4 hours out of 24 hours to themselves. That literally 20 hours of their day is separated between sleep and work. And more times than not, you're not getting the full 8 hours that you're supposed to be recommended. Because nobody can afford to sleep for 8 hours. There's other countries that have allowed more vacation time to make up this difference. I've had it explained to me. I cannot. I'd have to get back in there and recheck into everything to get exact countries and everything like that and how everything works out. But the way it's been explained to me is that there's places that get like a month. That's like you work for like 2 months and you're off for a month and stuff like that. Like, and that even with the 2 months that you're working, you still have your 2 days off and stuff like that. Like, I gotta find out all the information on this stuff before I could truly quote anything properly. But some of this stuff sounded good. I think that's a bit much, but I think if they was to cut weeks down to where you only have to work 30 hours a week, you can literally cut it down 2 hours a day, so it's everybody works 6 hours a day. Like, anything could be worked towards this stuff. If it was 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, yeah, that would work, and they still get their hour lunch. Like, why not? Why can't it be like that? And if the pay rate stays the same, no big deal. Especially because if the rent gets cut down all the way across the board, that means it also gets cut down for businesses having to pay the rent for where their business is. So if you're having to pay $5,000 a month to continue to rent your office space, that's cut in half. That's a salary right there for that week. You're good. It's all taken care of. So, but it just needs to be. This stuff needs to be fixed because it's the tycoons, it's the rich people who set these prices. Like, oh, I have to pay more. Well, then I guess I'm gonna have to increase everything because my amount of money I'm making is not gonna go down. Well, it's not going down. It's going up by percentages, and that's the other thing too. Another discussion for another video. We'll have to get into that in the next one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.